Hey everyone, it's Nicholas Wilton at Art to Life, and I'm standing in front of a painting that I just finished. And I never actually do this. I never turn the camera on before a painting goes out. I just thought it'd be kind of interesting because I don't know if you're like me, but I learn a bunch of stuff every time I make a painting. And I was thinking about the things that I learned or kind of relearned because I forget and then I relearn. And this painting had an interesting kind of like journey here. And one of the challenges I had with it was I had these shapes on here, these blue shapes. And the first thing that, in the beginning, they were much smaller and they're all kind of even sized. And then to get it stronger, I just changed the shapes of things and just really pushed variety, the variety of these bold shapes. This is in my world, in my teaching and everything. And for a lot of you who have taken, our CVP course and different workshops, this loud conversation of the painting is these bold, high contrast things. So this loud conversation wants to be really interesting. And it is, I think, because there's a variety of shapes and sizes and your eye moves around, we notice things, And so that was the first thing that I had to figure that out. And it took a while, but I've never really done a picture like this. But anyway, and then I had, but then I had painted out a bunch of shapes white, and they were under here. And then I had to like paint the background on top of the foreground, which was weird. And, anyway, so I kind of went back and forth. And in the process of doing that, I ended up getting this blue paint everywhere. And that's what really, when the painting started to get better, when, I struggled with this because these shapes felt really foreign to the background. They were just completely unrelated. And I tried to relate the foreground to the background by having these other shapes in here, but they're not that noticeable. This being kind of more the quiet conversation, the yellow and the pale white. It still didn't work, but it was only because I got paint on my hands and it was on my rulers and stuff that it started getting on the painting. And then it was like, God, there's something about this. And so I just got messier with it. And what's happening is that it's making the background's starting to feel a little bit like the foreground. The loud conversation is spilling into the quiet conversation. All of these little tiny marks make these two things that were too far apart. They were too different. It was unrelated. The painting didn't hang together. And so it started to become a painting about the play between, how far I could push these sort of high contrast things into this painting and still make it work. And I went too far with it. And then I came back in, and you can see, and I started covering up a lot of areas. You can't really see, but there's a lot of yellow that I painted back on here. And then I started to get some beautiful subtleties that started to happen, some of that quiet conversation in the painting, which just made it even better. And then I realized, well, God, if it worked with the background in the foreground, I'll put the background into the foreground. Then I started putting white back on top of it and getting that layering. So this painting ultimately is about the kind of the mix up between the foreground and the background. They're still separate, but playing with that, how they're coming together and pulling apart, and that they're all in this dance. And there's this feeling of space, which I really love. And then these lines also connect things. So it's just an interesting idea that what we make, we want to put things together that are really different, but at the same time, we want to have things that are connected, that are related, but different. Does that make sense? So you're creating a world. And I just love that because it's pretty wide open, and there were some colors and things in here that this is basically just a couple colors, but there are other colors in here that, the canvas and stuff coming through the underpainting, but I mostly kind of covered it up. And the process of messing with this background so much kind of killed some of the yellowness. And I decided to make the yellow a little more bolder. I mean, it's pretty close, but the color really is this yellow that I'm and I killed this blue so the yellow could stand out a little bit more. Anyway, that's all the stuff I learned. And this is, by the way, I'm going to be diving into all of this stuff coming up in our free workshop. This is our big free online. It starts February 14th, Valentine's Day. It's the start of their whole season of learning. We do our 3-month program. It goes way into this, but this free workshop's really, really cool. And I'm diving into the quiet and the loud conversation this time. And I'll be doing live demonstrations that are longer than this, and working on stuff and looking at people's work. So if you want to get on the list for that, do so. There's a link right here. And yeah, so anyway, I could say I'll show you how this turns out, but I think it's done. I might see it now and see it differently, but I think this is done. And I just have to varnish it, just got to finish it, seal it. And it's on canvas. And so I'm going to take it off this panel, and then I roll it up and I ship it to the gallery, and then we stretch it, and that's it. All right. Thanks for listening. Okay. Hope your Sunday's awesome. Let me know in the comments what you think. If this relates to anything you're working on, and if this is somehow how you think about this idea of foreground, background, interplay, and connecting disparate parts of your work together. I think it's pretty interesting. Thanks a lot. Okay. Hey everyone, if you found this helpful, I have a whole lot more to teach, share, and inspire you with every single week. So please join the Art to Life YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Okay, great. Let's do this.